Buy or sell.
This is Buy or Sell, where our top VCs pick a side. Either you love it and you buy it, or you hate it and sell it. Sell it fast. First Round Capital founder Josh Kopelman recently said he isn't fully sold on SPACs, but thinks rolling funds could prove powerful. With AngelList helping rolling funds become the new craze, buy or sell rolling funds will disrupt venture capital. Hadley.
I'm buying. I think it could be a powerful weapon for the very small kind of single GP funds to get off the ground quickly. I don't think that it's going to disrupt kind of larger funds and kind of move into the later stages. But I think in general, for founders having more money, folks that can be really helpful, former entrepreneurs that can be really helpful on the ground, who can get up and running very quickly and not go through all the rigmarole of setting up a fund and LPs, and that whole fundraising timeline, I think is really powerful.
Mm-hmm. Kate?
Yeah, well, you're talking the fund on a rolling fund. So I'm actually going to sell only because of the word disrupt. So rolling funds have been around for, decades. It's not anything new. AngelList is really awesome at packaging these things together. And AngelList, I love you. We're super happy. I do think that it does provide a gateway for some people to come in, but I see it almost sitting in the middle of kind of really big VC funds, the really big space out there. And I don't know if it's going to take the whole thing over. A little bit to what Hadley just said, Chris just said. It's not going to take anything over. It's a new tool. It's a pathway in. I don't think it's going to fully disrupt.
Okay, let's move over to Chris.
I'm a huge seller. With all due respect to my friend Josh, I think, like I said, the innovators are followed by the imitators, who are followed by the idiots. Anybody who wanted to raise a venture capital fund over the last 5 years probably could have raised one relatively easily until COVID hit. The interest alignment from the LP perspective is horrible. You've got accelerated fees, so you're digging a huge J curve. You've got kind of carry that only nets over 2 years, which makes absolutely no sense. From an interest alignment perspective, it's a disaster. And at some point, people need to get back to starting companies, right? Instead of focusing why is everybody a dilettante at everything? Let's get back, somebody once said, if things continue in the healthcare industry in the United States, in 2050, everybody's going to be lying in a bed taking care of the person next to them. Well, it's the same thing in venture. It feels like in San Francisco in 2050, everybody's going to be investing in everybody's companies. It's going to be a big circular reference.
Okay. Elliot, your thoughts on rolling funds?
Yeah, I'm selling as well. This actually reminds me of when I was in business school over a decade ago. And at this time, everyone decided, I don't want to be a banker, I want to be a consultant. And one of my professors said, well, if 95% of you want to be consultants and no one starts a company or wants to be like an executive, there will be no businesses left to consult. And I feel like this is the same weird thing happening in tech where for some weird reason, everyone wants to be a venture capitalist. I don't really get it. The old school venture, which I absolutely love, back in 2006 when I started my career, it really was about helping the companies and helping them think long term. And now it's about how easily can I access new capital on a quarterly basis, thinking about a new batch of companies. You've already forgot about the things that you did 90 days ago. I just don't get it. Everything that I'm invested in, every management team, every board that I sit on, I'm thinking 5, 7, 10 years, if I'm lucky 10 years, because that means they've really done something big and taken a big piece of new market share.
One of the big things that I've seen on this is it's going to highly depend on how new VCs use this. We structured our rolling fund on a 16 quarter to try to mimic a 10-year fund with a 4-year investment period. You've got some VCs coming in and it's like a glorified quarterly SPV, and at that point, the LPs, it's also not a diversified portfolio if you're coming in for a quarter. So it's so much has to be shaken out too. And it's really, a lot of it's going to depend on how it's being used.
Kate, I love that perspective. That's great.
Absolutely. The world is becoming more polarizing, with brands, celebrities, and thought leaders feeling the pressure to have an opinion on nearly every topic facing humanity. With startups and tech playing such a major role in our lives, buy or sell, VCs now have the responsibility to weigh in on political and social issues. Kate, you want to take this one?
Yeah. So, look, no one has the responsibility to do anything. I think this is a PR move. And so you can sit back and you cannot make any stance. You're probably going to start getting asked from your founders is probably going to start mattering. And if you don't have an opinion, that will probably start to affect some of the decisions that are made with founders who are starting to have a lot more power in some of these deals. And they have a lot more choices now to go to certain places. So responsibility, sell, PR, might want to think about.
Okay. Elliot, your thoughts?
I have the same view. I mean, I'm selling that you have to do something. No shocker here from the video feed. I'm black and I'm a venture capitalist. There's not a whole lot of me. And at the partner level, I think there's actually less than 5 of me that can cut a check more than $10 million in this country. So, that's just a stark reality. So, of course, I speak up on these issues. I have been well before kind of the current conversation of 2020. And have backed a bunch of diverse founders, even, in my role here at Bessemer. So my viewpoint is do the work, let other people talk about the work that you're doing. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense for you to use it as a press release thing because it will always go bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris?
I always say venture has more units of ego per dollar of return than any other asset class. And the last thing I want to hear are a bunch of VCs using hashtag activism where the actions don't, kind of follow their, they're weighing in on different topics. People can keep their opinions to themselves, but go out and do some good in the world. That's the most important thing. Actions, not words.
Absolutely. Hadley, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm selling as well. I mean, at ENIAC, I think we've put as much time and effort, at least per pound, as anyone especially in the last 6 months, into underrepresented founders. That's something we feel passionate about, but it's up to the individual. I don't think people should feel obligated. They should do what they're passionate about and try and drive change. But I don't think it should be necessarily expected if folks aren't passionate about that topic.
Founder of 20-Minute VC podcast, Harry Stebbings, tweeted, "The best CMO you will ever have is your CEO. Welcome to the generation of personal brands. Buy or sell the importance of founders needing to focus on building a personal brand to help grow their startup." Chris, start us off.
Oh gosh, I love Harry, but that might be the most millennial thing I've ever heard in my life. It's we're just kind of celebrating the individual, but I'm an old school guy. I believe if you build a better mousetrap, the world will be a path to your door. So I want founders who are heads down, crushing it, building a great product, and that product will sell itself. Now I know that it's a noisy market out there, but a lot of people get distracted in this kind of star effing, kind of Hollywoodification of venture capital is killing me dead. Big sell.
So that's a good take right there. Hadley, what do you think?
Yeah, and I'm a big sell as well. I think the best founders are just maniacally focused on their product and building their business, not concerned with their kind of personal brand. I have seen it be effective in some places, but I think as a whole, focus on your company, crush, and that's it. Don't need to worry about your personal brand. If you want to do that afterwards with your billions of dollars, that's great.
Elliot, your thoughts?
Yeah, I couldn't sell this any harder. I think the only thing I would sell harder is a startup promoting, closed door hugging as a group or something. This is just the worst idea I've seen. My view is that your best CMO, your best marketing asset is not just your product, but it's your user community. Let them talk about how great your product is and how great your customer success and customer experience team is. The last CEO I backed was a guy named Peter Brodsky. He has no Twitter. Someone else manages his LinkedIn. But when you talk to his users and his customer advisory board about him and his product team, that's really what you need. The last thing I'll say on this, even with the venture capitalists here at Bessemer and those that I mentor, I always tell them, find the right balance between your brand and your reputation. Your brand is just the bullshit that you're going to tell people about yourself. Your reputation is what founders and other investors say about you, and that's all that matters.
Strong. Kate?
Yeah, sell, 100%. I want you focused on business. I don't want you, sitting on Twitter, going to every speaking event every single, week. To the extent that your brand is able to help your company, I support that a little bit. But my gosh, if you've got someone else who wants to go and talk about their brand, sometimes I wonder if people who sit on Twitter do anything during the day. It's remarkable to me. So that I am, for all of these reasons, I'm a big sell. I'm a big sell on that.
Twitter is only for VCs, not founders. That's what I'm.
Tell the
big place. Any
tell the founders that.
Yeah, right.